Here we are, SAT 22 for week 25 or 15. Okay, so our question, we have ourselves a system of linear inequalities. The point x comma 53 is a solution to the system of inequalities in the xy plane. Which of the following could be a value of x? We got our four classic answer choices. And here, look at the results. I wonder what the answer is supposed to be. So you can see 87.3% chose blue, answer choice A, which is in fact the correct answer here. Nothing else comes anywhere close. And we thought overall is a pretty easy question here. So easy to medium, definitely on the easy side. So let's go ahead and take a look at our solution, shall we? Okay, yes, you can do this on Desmos. You can also do it within seconds with, just some algebraic means here. So just, let's say for the sake of understanding what's going on here, just kind of a brief overview of linear inequalities. Now, a system of equations, usually what we're doing is we're looking for, let's say, a point of intersection, right? But that's not what's happening here. When we have a system of linear inequalities specifically, what we're doing is we're looking for a region, an overlapping region. So you might have one line, and it could be a dashed line, which means that the solutions on that line don't count. And then maybe what you do is that you are shading the half plane up above it, or it could be down below it, depending on if it's greater than or less than, right? Okay, and then maybe you have another line that intersects this guy, and maybe this one, the actual line is solid. Who knows? Because it could actually contain some solutions. And then let's say that this one is less than, so we are shading down below here. And so your solution set is not just a single point of intersection. As a matter of fact, in this one, the point intersection doesn't even count because it's on the red line, but it's not on the blue dashed line. So it's not a shared solution. Your shared solution is the purpley part that they have in common. It's sort of like the overlap in between two overlapping circles in a Venn diagram, right? So anything in here, let's say, for example, I'll pick myself a little point right here. That would be a point in the solution set. Anything outside of that, no, it might satisfy one or the other one of the inequalities, but not necessarily both. Okay, anyway, so they give us the y-coordinate, essentially, for one of the points, and we can see clearly it satisfies the top inequality, that 53 is definitely bigger than 14. We just need to figure out what the x value is so that it can also satisfy this bottom one down here. Well, it seems pretty plain that I could just go ahead and stick with the 53 in there for y, and then I can solve that inequality and see what x has to be. So I would have a 4x plus 53 for my y is less than 18. Okay, I have to subtract over my 18. Of course, calculator active, you could go ahead and throw that into the calculator. I'm going to do it by hand here, see if I can. All right, so I'll have to borrow 1. Makes that a 4, 1. That's a 5, and then 1 from 4 gives me a 35. Now, it's actually negative because I am subtracting the 53, which is the bigger number. So I have 4x, which is less than negative 35. And then, of course, I would divide by the 4. Now, you don't switch this inequality sign, not unless you're going to multiply or divide by a negative number, which we didn't do. We just subtracted over a number. Okay, so dividing by 4, we have x is less than negative 35 over 4. Okay, and then in terms of being able to compare this to one of these numbers, I might turn this into a decimal or a mixed number or something like that. Let's see. Still negative. 4 goes into, it's almost 36, right? Because that would be 9. So this is 8, and that's going to give us 3 left over. So 3/4, or 0.75. I want an x value, which is less than negative 8.75. So less than, when negative, that means the actual number itself, it looks bigger than that. So I am going to look at these answer choices and eliminate 3 of them right off the bat. So obviously 9 is not less than negative 8.7 or 5, and neither is negative 5 That's actually bigger than the negative 8.75, which leaves us, of course, with answer choice A. Now, you probably didn't solve this thing by hand. Maybe what you did is you went straight for the Desmos, which you totally can do, because Desmos can and will solve inequalities for you, or graph them, I should say. So one of our inequalities was y is, I think it was greater than 14. Let me fact check that, shall I? Greater than 14? Okay, and then the next one is 4x plus y is less than 18. Okay, so before I move on, let me just look at this one. So you see we have ourselves a horizontal line. It is dashed, and we're shading the half plane up above it. Okay, and then we had a 4x plus y, and this one was less than 18. Okay, and then here is, now, when I look at this blue region that's right here, this point to intersection, which Desmos will tell me is 1 comma 14, doesn't count for anything. It's not a solution to either one of those systems of equations because both of the lines are dashed, which means that any points on there are not solutions. Okay, so we're looking for kind of this purpley region right here where the red and the blue meet, of course. And then, you can just put your answer choices in if you wanted to. Here's what I'm going to do. I'm going to do something fancy. I'm going to make a little slider here. So I am going to put in an ordered pair, and in this ordered pair, instead of putting the letter X, I will put a little placeholder for an A. You can choose any letter that you want to, probably not the X though. And then comma, and we had a 53. It says add a slider. Yeah, totally, I'll add a slider. Now I can't see anything here, of course, because my biggest Y value right now is 25, and so I need to scroll up here until I get to the 50. Oh, there it is, and you can see my point. Maybe even label that guy. Who knows? Maybe I say, oh, all right, there we go. It puts the order pair right beside it. Okay, so now I can see that I need to move this thing to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left, to the left. Bam! And I have made it. And notice that if I actually get it to our answer choice, it almost looks like it's not part of the solution set, but if I zoom in a little bit here, you can clearly see that it is in the overlap. All right, well, there you go. There's your solution to week 15 of SAT 22.